Hello, today this is going to be page 93 that we're going to go over. Uh, First problem, we have to identify A, B, and C, so realize that there is a 1, sorry about that, there's a 1 that's out in front here, so our A value is 1, so it opens up because it's positive, our B value is -4, and our C value is +4. We're then going to use x equals -b over 2a. That finds us our axis of symmetry. So my b value is -4. My a value is 1. So that's going to give me +4 over 2. So x equals 2. That's our axis of symmetry. But notice we're not even drawing our axis of symmetry right now. And that's okay. Um, Originally, it was kind of for a guide. It's not necessary to always have it drawn. But we know that this is the x component of the vertex, so our vertex is 2, comma, and then we're going to plug in. I'll use pi for plug in. So in our original equation, we're going to get 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 4. So I'm just substituting the 2 in and making sure I keep all the signs. 2 squared is 4. Negative 4 times 2 is 8 plus 4. If I add this together, I get 0. So 2, comma 0. So look at that. We found a root. Okay, so that's 2, comma 0. We can go ahead and start our pattern graphing. So it's a times 135. And that 135 continues forever. It's 1357. It's all the odd numbers. Our a value is 1. So what is 1 times 135? Yeah, it still gives us 1, 3, and 5. So let's deal with the first one. So from our vertex, I'm going to go right 1, up 1, because it's positive, and left 1, up 1. So that gives me the point 3, comma 1. Now it gives me the other point 1, comma 1. Our next one is the 3. So from my purple dots, now I'm going to go right 1, up 3. That takes me to 4, comma 4. And then I'm going to go left 1, up 3. And look, it did give us the y-intercept because that's 0, comma 4. We probably could do one more, but 4 points is definitely enough points for us to work with. And there's our parabola. Okay, it's supposed to open up. We got it. Problem number 2. I have my a value is -1, so it's going to open down because it's negative. Our b value, there's no x value, so it has to be 0. Our c value is then 4. We're then going to use x equals -b over 2a. So in this case, we're going to get -0 over 2 times -1. Well, 0 over anything is just going to be 0, so my x-intercept is 0. And again, we don't necessarily have to put it, it would go right straight down this line here, which is fine. Okay, so then I want to find my vertex, so I know that this value is going to plug in here, and then we'll plug in to get our y value. So I'm going to get f of x is equal to -0 squared plus 4. 0 squared is 0. -0 is 0, so I get 0 plus 4. So this comes out to just 4. Now I have a vertex at 0. Don't move right or left. Up 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's my vertex. Remember, this one's going to open down because the a value is negative. So I'm going to go a equals, or a times 135. So I'm going to go -1 times 135. So that's going to give me -1, -3, -5. Let's squeeze that in there. So from our vertex, I'm going to go right 1, down 1. I'm going down because it's negative, so that takes me to the point 1, comma 3. Left 1, down 1. That takes me to the point -1, comma 3. And then we'll go and deal with our -3. So from our red dots, I'm going to go right 1, down 3. And that takes me to the point 2, comma 0, which is a root because it's on the x-axis. Now I'm going to go left 1, down 3. And that takes me to -2, 0, which is also another root because it crossed the x-axis. We could plot one more set of points, but right now we have the overall picture of exactly what our graph looks like. Okay, we could have went to the -5, went right one down 5 and left one down 5, but it's not necessary. Problem number 3. So our A value is 2, so it's going to open up because it's positive. Our B value is -8, and our C value is 5. X equals -b over 2a. That's for our axis of symmetry and the x component of our vertex. So we have negative, and then we're plugging -8 in. -8 is +8 over 4, so that's 2. So I have an axis of symmetry at 2, so it could go straight up and down this line, but I don't necessarily need to put it. Let's go ahead and find our vertex. Our vertex is going to be 2 comma, plug in to the original. Okay, so that's going to be f at x. It's actually f at 2 because we're substituting in for x. And then that's where an x used to live, so a 2 goes in there, minus 8 times. This is where another x lives, so 2 goes in there, plus 5. So 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8, minus 16, plus 5. And do the math. 8 subtract 16 is -8. -8 plus 5 is -3. So I have a vertex at 2, -3. So right 2, down 3 because it's negative. There's my vertex. And from there, we're going to go ahead and start pattern graphing. So I have A times 135. So I know that my A value is 2. So that's going to give me a 2, 6, 10 pattern graph. So from our purple dot, we're going to go right 1 up 2. So that takes me to 3 comma -1. Left 1 up 2. And that takes me to 1 -1. And then we can go ahead and do our 6. So I'm going to go right 1 up 6. And left 1 up 6. That takes me to the point 4, comma 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's up 5. And then that takes me to 0, 5. So I see where it crosses the y-intercept. That's the y-intercept. But notice when I graph this, it does indeed cross the x-axis, but I don't know what my root is. Okay? We are not quite sure what those are at this point. Later, we will learn how to find those exact values, but as of right now, our pattern graphing did not give us the x-intercepts, and that's okay. It didn't mean we did anything wrong. This is problem number 4. Our A value is 2, so it opens up because it's positive. Our B value is 8. Our C value is 6. X equals -b over 2a. That finds us our axis of symmetry. So I'm going to get -8 over 2 times 2, which is -8 over 4, which gives me -2. That's our axis of symmetry. It's also our x value of our vertex. So then we have to find this one. So we're going to plug it in. Okay. So we're going to go f at -2 because we're plugging the -2 in for x. So 2 times parentheses, that's where x used to live. Now -2 lives there. Plus 8 times -2. That's where another x used to be. And then we need to do the math. So -2 squared is +4. +4 times 2 is 8. 8 times -2 is -16 plus 6. That's going to give me -8 plus 6 is going to give me -2. So -2, -2 is right here. That's my vertex. And it's going to open up, so our pattern graph is going to be A times 135. So that is 2 times 135. That's going to give me 2, 6, 10. So I'm going to go right 1 up 2. Oh, we found a root. So we have -1 comma 0. And left 1 up 2. And that found us another root. So there's a root. And -3 comma 0 is another root. We can then go one more. We'll go the 6. So from the green dots, I'm going to go right one up 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so that's going to give me the point 0, comma 6, which is the y-intercept. And left one up 6. That takes me to point negative 4, comma 6. We have enough information to graph this. We know it was supposed to open up because our a value is positive. And there's our parabola. Number 5, our a value is 1. So it's going to open up because it's positive. Our b value is negative 2. Our c value is 3. We're going to go x equals negative b over 2a to find our axis of symmetry and the x component of my vertex. So I'm going to get negative negative 2 over 2 times 1, which is 2 over 2, which is 1. So that's my axis of symmetry. So it would go straight up and down this line right here. It's also the x component of my vertex. Okay, so we're going to go f at 1 because we're plugging 1 in for x. X used to be there, so now it's going to be a 1. X used to be in those parentheses, so now it's going to be another 1 plus 3. So I get 1 squared is 1 minus 2 plus 3. Do the arithmetic. That's going to give me negative 1. That's going to give me positive 2. So 1 comma 2. And that's our vertex. So 1 comma 2. We're now going to check our pattern graph. So it's going to be a times 135, which I know I have my a value is 1. So the pattern graph is just going to be 135. So from our blue dot, we're going to go right 1, up 1. So that takes me to 2 comma 3. We're going to go left 1, up 1, which is going to take me to 0 comma 3. That's the y-intercept. We're then going to go up 3. So for my green dots, right 1, up 3, which takes me to the point 3 comma, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And left 1, up 2 and 3. That takes me to negative 1 comma 6. So notice this parabola opens up. It doesn't even cross our x-axis at all. So our roots on this particular problem, because it doesn't cross the x-axis, are not real. And real refers to the real number system. I know that can be a little confusing because it's a silly name, but just have to focus on making sure that you understand sometimes we might not know exactly where it crosses the x-axis, but those roots are part of the real number system. This one doesn't cross the x-axis, so they are not part of the real number system. Number 6, our a value is 1, so we're going to open up because that's positive. Our b value, there's no x term, so it's 0, and our c term is negative 9. We're going to use x equals negative b over 2a. So I get negative 0 over 2 times 1. Well, 0 on top gives me a 0 overall. So that's my axis of symmetry. So it's right up and down the y-axis. To find our vertex, we're going to go 0, comma, plug in. Okay. So I'm going to find f at 0, which is 0 squared minus 9. 0 squared is 0. 0 minus 9, so I just wind up with negative 9. So 0, negative 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is down here. So that's 0, comma, negative 9. We're going to take a look at our pattern graph. Our pattern graph is a times 135. Our a value is 1. So that doesn't change. It stays as a 135 pattern graph. So I'm going to go right 1, up 1, left 1, up 1. So that's going to take me to the point 1, comma, negative 8, and negative 1, comma, 8, negative 8, excuse me. These are 3 now, so I'm going to go right 1, up 3. So that takes me to 2, comma, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5, and left 1, up 3. That takes me to negative 2, negative 5. I would go ahead and plot the last 5 just to see if we can get to a root. So I'm going to go right one up 5. And look at that, we did find a root. 3 comma 0, that is a root. And then I'm going to go left one up 5. That found me another root. So that's at negative 3 comma 0. And again, a root is where it crosses the x-axis. This is our parabola if we draw it in. And that's your answer. For the rest of the day, I would like you to please work on page 95, 1 through 9, and do all of them. Okay? Have a great day. Take care of one another.